Hello, everyone. This is Rose. Today's topic from the Book of Life is I love you. What does this expression of love mean? Everyone says it. Is it a cliche? Let's take a look at this short story from the Book of Life. Throughout the years, I have observed the words I love you systematically flow from one person to another. In my early years as a kid, these words were only expressed to a family member or a spouse or someone you were in an intimate relationship with. These words have taken on an entirely different meaning in this 21st century. I say this because these words are now expressed in casual conversation among people. These words are also expressed in conversations with acquaintances, co-workers, as well as strangers. Everyone is saying, I love you, regardless of the relationship to the person. Many people who is speaking publicly after receiving a reward or some form of recognition, each end their speech of appreciation with the words, I love you all. Many express the words, I love you minutes, hours, or days before they stab you in the back by stealing from you, lying on you, betraying you, pretending to not know you, setting you up for failure, or thinking and wishing evil against you. I mean, come on. People are saying I love you to people they dislike. What's up with this? With all of this being said, let's take a look at the different meanings of love. Maybe this will help explain or get a better understanding as to why people always say I love you. It has to be more than one meaning. So let's take a look at the different meanings of love. Love is defined in the dictionary as a form of affection, not hate. It says affection. Also, it is something that you delight in, enjoy greatly, or have pleasure in. That's how the dictionary defines it. Now, let's take a look. Let's see what the Bible says about love. In Galatians chapter 5, verse 22 through 23, the Bible tells us that the fruit of the Spirit is love, and that this love is defined as joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, and meekness. Meek means when you are a person you're a strong person when you're meek, because meekness is a person who when they being attacked, they know how to hold themselves together and not match that energy. They don't match that energy with attacking that person who's attacking them. So it takes a lot of strength to be meek, because you're holding yourself together regardless of how that person is acting towards you. So this is what the Bible tells us the fruit of the Spirit is. Also, in the Bible, there are 7 types of love in God's Word throughout the Bible. The Bible expresses and gives stories of love in 7 different ways. The first love is called Eros love. It's spelled E-R-O-S, eros. It's a Greek word. Eros love is a romantic love. Eros is an intentional sexual desire for love. An example of Eros love in the Bible can be found in Judges chapter 15 to 16. It's the story of when Samson sleeps with harloms, which we know are prostitutes, as well as with Delilah. So that was an eros love. That was an intense sexual desire for someone type of love. Also in the Bible, the second love is phileo. Phileo love is an affectionate love. This love does not involve any passion or sexual impulse. It can be best described as love between friends. So that's phileo. An example in the Bible of phileo love would be found in John chapter 3, verse 16. That's where Jesus laid down his life for everyone, for all of us, because he called us his friends. The third type of love described in the Bible is a storge. Or a storge love is a familiar love. It is love that family feels for each other. This type of love described in the Bible can be found in Luke chapter 7. And there's more chapters that covers these different types of love in the Bible than what I'm giving. But I just want to give an example that I found in the Bible that kind of reference to the type of love that they are speaking of. So Luke chapter 7, verses 1 through 10. That one is basically speaking about a centurion who asked Jesus to heal his servant. So with that type of love, like I say, it's a familiar love. It's speaking about a love that a family has for another person, another family member. So it can be, even though the centurion was asking for his servant to be healed, it's still a similar type of love because he has love for his servant, just as we have for family members or a friend, close friend, and we asking for that person to be healed. And so that's an example of storge love. Also, another example of storge is, you can find that in Matthew chapter 15, verses 21 through 28. It's when a woman begs Jesus to deliver her daughter from demon possession. So here you got two examples. A centurion who's asking for his servant to be healed. That's a best friend asking for another friend. And then you have the woman who's begging for her daughter to be delivered from a demon possession. So that's family member. The fourth love in the Bible is pragma. Pragma love is an enduring love. A couple who has been married for a long time is evidence. They carry the evidence of this type of enduring love. Evidence of this love can be found in Genesis chapter 21. That's with Abraham and Sarah, their marriage. They have been married for a very long time, and you see that it was an enduring love because Sarah, she endured a lot being the wife of Abraham. The fifth love described in the Bible is called philatia. Philatia love is a self-love or a self-compassion type of love. In the book of Daniel, Daniel and his friends names were Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, all declined to eat King Nebuchadnezzar's group gourmet food with wine. They refused to eat his gourmet food with wine because they did not want to defile themselves with an ungodly diet. They didn't want to put toxins into their body because they were very godly people, and they wanted to, have, when you spiritual, you is body, mind, and soul. So what you take into your body affects the body, mind, and soul. And they did not want to take in anything that defiled the body. They did not want to defile themselves with an ungodly diet. So that's a self-love, which is philatia, self-love or self-compassion. The sixth type of love that was in the Bible is called ludus. Ludus is a playful love or uncommitted love. Ludus love is best described as the butterflies in the stomach type of love. We all have felt that from time to time. Somewhere in our lifetime, we have got those little butterflies in our stomach when we really like somebody, or sometimes we call it puppy love, but that can be felt in adults as well. It is the flirting, teasing, and the quickening of the heartbeat kind of love. When that beginning type of love, that's the type of love I think most people feel when they first get into a relationship or with somebody, that they can, hey, I feel like I can love this person because I got these butterflies. I like flirting and teasing this person. My heart beat and skip a beat, or a beat rapid when I'm around this person. That's what ludus love is. It's that playful love, that uncommitted, type love. The entire book of the Songs of Solomon expresses flirting love. So when reading those songs in the book of Solomon, that's that ludus love. The seventh love in the Bible is called agape love. Agape love is an unconditional love. It is a selfless love for others, that you have for others. In Matthew chapter 22, verses 37 through 39, Jesus states, "Thou shalt love the Lord God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and the great commandment. And the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself." See, that's agape love. That is that selfless type of love. Selfless love for others. To summarize the 7 types of love shown throughout the Bible, we reviewed examples of romantic love, affectionate love, familiar love, enduring love, self-love, playful love or uncommitted love, and unconditional love. That's what we reviewed in the 7 types of love. In reviewing these different types of love, I can now understand why someone can give a speech of gratitude and end it with, "I love you all." Or when it is said among friends as they leave each other presents, "Bye, see you tomorrow, I love you." I can understand that now. because this expression of love is defined in one of the 7 type of loves that was just reviewed. They are expressing phileo love. Also, I can now understand saying I love you can be an expression of any of the 7 types of love. So people say it. It's not always a cliche. It may be can be defined in how they use it into one of the 7 types of love. However, I do not think everyone who says I love you is expressing love within the scope of the 7 types of love. Not everyone is expressing love. Nope. Therefore, I do believe it is a cliche for some people. They just pick up these phrases and it sounds cute, so they say it. They throw it around loosely, but without any meaning. I love you, I love you, I love you. Who seems as a familiar phrase that sounds good. That's it. But don't have any meaning. Let's take a look at this brief short story of cliche love. Cliche, I love you. Someone just saying it as a cliche. The story goes as follows. Joyce and Lisa are best friends. Their kids grew up together, calling each other cousins. For years, Joyce and Lisa were like 2 peas in a pot. They went to school together. They went to church together. They socialized with their kids together at parks, museums, theme parks, restaurants, movie theaters, and private events at their home. That shows you they were together. They was close in relationship and friendship. Joyce would often help Lisa financially without asking or expecting to be repaid. They would talk on the phone often and would always end the conversation with, I love you. I will see you tomorrow. For years, the 2 ladies were equal in stature among their peers. However, when Joyce's light began to shine a little brighter than Lisa's light, a darkness, unbeknown to Joyce, formed in Lisa's heart towards her. Joyce continued to express phileo love to Lisa and her kids. So we know phileo love is a friendship love. So Joyce continued to express this phileo love to Lisa and her kids. Joyce noticed that Lisa wasn't as present as she used to be. Lisa begins to spend most of her time socializing with other people. She slowly stops attending holiday functions at Joyce's house, as well as stopped taking her kids to the theme parks and restaurants, movies with Joyce and her kids. She just stopped hanging out with her. But Joyce did not think much of Lisa's absence in her life. She noticed it, but as a true friend, she didn't think much of it. She knew Lisa had her own life, and it couldn't always involve her. She was happy to see that Lisa was out enjoying herself. However, Joyce did realize the shift in her friend Lisa's relationship with her began shortly after she was promoted in position within the group her and Lisa were both members of. Okay, see, they was in this group together. And Joyce was promoted in this group or this organization. And Lisa was now suddenly not equal in stature to Joyce because of Joyce's promotion. Because, see, they did everything together. And now Joyce's light had begun to shine a little bit brighter than Lisa's. And now something inside of Lisa that was already there laying dormant suddenly was awoken. And she began to treat her friend Joyce differently. Lisa became close friends with the director of the group. The group that Joyce was promoted in, Lisa decided to become close friends with the director who was over the group. The director appoints Lisa as his assistant. So she was able to become his assistant. Lisa and the director became intimate friends. Joyce finds this out by overhearing members who were gossiping about Lisa and the director's intimate relationship. See, Joyce began to overhear the members of the group, or in that particular organization, gossiping about how Lisa and the director are intimate. And for that reason, they believe he promoted her, made her his assistant. But Joyce, she heard them gossiping about her friend. She did not judge her friend. She wanted to let her friend know what was being said about her, but wasn't sure how to handle it. She did not want to be the bone carrier who starts a lot of mess among the group. And she knew that's what would happen. She knew that she would be in the center of a bunch of mess, and she didn't know which would be more heartbreaking, being in the center of some mess because she told her friend, or not telling her friend. So she had to make a decision. She felt the gossiping would fade as quickly as it had started. That was the decision she made, to not tell her friend and just let it end. It would fade. A couple of months later, Joyce was told in one of the group meetings that she was being demoted. Now, here she is in a meeting, and she's being told in front of the entire everyone, all the members, in front of everybody, she's hearing for the first time that she is about to be demoted. The reason given in the meeting by the director is that he decided to change the bylaws to limit the time a person can hold office in the position Joyce was promoted to. So he's going to change it on his own. And he was going to limit the time that she can hold that position. Once again, the members of the group began to gossip again and say that Lisa was behind the director demoting Joyce. Members of the group actually heard Lisa telling the director that he needs to change the bylaws so that other people who do not have to wait until a person resigns in order to serve in a higher position. So that was her reason, and she gave to the director, and I guess that, along with her lovemaking, sound good in his ears. He was like, okay, that's what we're going to do. So he changed and add that in the bylaws. And that meant, of course, she picked a time limit that suited Joyce being demoted right away. The director was going to set the limit for all lead persons that was in the same position. But Lisa convinced him to only set it for Joyce's position. Go figure. That doesn't make sense. That should have sent some red flags up to the director. But this time, I guess there was no good excuse. It was just a love making that made him go along with Lisa's decision on this one. Because it didn't make sense. You just going to demote Joyce and not the other people who holds the same title and has been there longer than Joyce? Sounds like a setup to me. A new friend of Lisa's was placed in the position by the director. So now he demotes Joyce. He gets her out of that position because she served her time limit. And then he just appoint somebody to take over for her. And it happens to be one of Lisa's friends that she suggested to the director. The voting protocol states in the bylaws was totally passed. It was ignored. They normally have to vote people in position, but that part was totally ignored because Lisa explained to the director that he has a right to place somebody in position. So that's what they did. Joyce, being the person that she is, she respects the decision made by the director. She wasn't there to argue over no voluntary position where she didn't get paid. She did it from the heart. And so she was not there to argue about a position. She was promoted. She didn't ask to be promoted. She was doing her job the way she's supposed to do it. And so because Lisa got with this director and set her up, backstabbed her to take that position from her because she was angry that Joyce's light was shining a little brighter than her. She had to sleep with somebody to get her light to shine, to be recognized. And it was recognized in a negative way, not in a good way. But that's what she brought on herself. So Joyce, being the person she is, hey, this is not a real job. I mean, she took it like it was a real job, but it's not a paying job. I'm doing this out the kindness of my heart. This is something that we volunteering to be a part of. We're giving ourselves. We're being selfless. That's a love that we describe. We're being selfless to give of ourselves in this organization. So Joyce, she just respected the decision without having any hostility towards Lisa. She didn't have any hostility towards Lisa. She just said, this is life. Joyce continued to invite Lisa and her kids to events, even though Lisa never showed up. Joyce knew in her heart, as long as she knew in her heart, she did not have anything towards Lisa that warranted hate from her. She didn't do anything to her. Joyce made her mind up that she was going to continue to be who she was as a person and as a friend to Lisa and anyone else in her life. No matter how she was treated by Lisa, she was still going to treat her as a friend. After Lisa seen how nonchalant Joyce was about the deceitful backstabbing, because see, when a person backstab you and do things to hurt you and want to show that they have control and power over you, they want you to feel a certain kind of way about that. They want to upset your world. They want to see you angry. They want to see you hurt. That's why they're doing it. They're trying to get a self gratification or fulfillment out of that. And it wasn't enough to just have the girl demoted and taken out of her position, but you wanted to get something from her. You wanted to see something that made you feel good about yourself for doing it. And that's what she was mad because Joyce did care less. She was very nonchalant about it. She didn't care. So Lisa begins to spread lies about Joyce because see, demoting her didn't get what she wanted. She had to take it step further. I mean, this had to be some type of hate that was built up in you to see this person who was good to you as your best friend light shine. To the point where, okay, that was not enough. It didn't do what I wanted it to do. Let me begin to spread some lies about Joyce. And that's what Lisa did. Joyce refused to entertain the lies by trying to convince people what Lisa was saying is a lie. I don't blame her. If these lies are coming back to me that somebody else told, why do I need to defend myself to you? Why do I need to defend myself and tell you those are lies and try to give you proof as to why it's a lie? Why? And that's how Joyce thought. She refused to entertain the lies by trying to convince people what Lisa said was a lie. She simply would tell a person that brought the lie to her, she would tell them, let my character speak for me rather than the lie you were told. Which one will you believe? Whose report will you believe? Will you believe the report of the Lord or the report of the devil? Basically is what she was saying. Whose report will you believe? Let my character speak for me rather than the lie you were told. Why are you so quick to receive this lie and believe it and bring it to me? So one night as Joyce was sleeping, because she had been receiving a lot of feedback about these lies from people bringing it all to her. Because, you know, people they love being a bone carrier of some lies. They ain't going to be a bone carrier of truth, but they going to be a bone carrier of some lies. They going to spread that and bring it to you faster than anything. They going to bring you a lie. So Joyce, being inundated with all these lies and people coming to her, and her having to tell them, let my character speak for me. One night, as she was sleeping, she had a dream. An angel appeared in her dream. In the dream, Lisa was spreading lies about her to a multitude of people, which is what she was doing in reality. So a lot of times our reality manifests in a dream, but the dream has a meaning to help us in reality. Okay, so here she is dreaming, and an angel appeared to her in the dream, and in the dream, Lisa was spreading lies about her to a multitude of people. Only Lisa and one person was laughing and making fun of Joyce about the lies in the dream. So it was a multitude of people, but throughout that multitude of people, Joyce saw only Lisa and one other person standing among those multitude of people laughing. The other people wasn't laughing. They received the lies, but they wasn't laughing. But Lisa had at least one person that was standing with her laughing and making fun of Joyce about the lies. So in the dream, Joyce was standing before this multitude of people. It was like she was standing before them, and she can see this mass of people, and she can see Lisa and her other homie that was laughing with her. She was standing before them like watching it like it was a movie picture. Just watching it like it's a movie, just seeing this. And Joyce was silent. She was silent as she was standing before these people, and Lisa and her little homie laughing. So she was silent, but she was feeling hurt. She was hurt. So the angel came to Joyce as she was standing there silent and just being hurt. The angel came to her and said to her, the angel said, I need you to sing. So Joyce standing there like, okay, I'm sitting up here hurt because I am being ridiculed by this woman, and her friend is laughing, and these multitude of people that receive these lies are just, they all standing here and just staring at me, and I'm staring back at them, and you tell me you want me to sing? The angel said, I need you to sing now. Joyce tells the angels that she did not know how to sing. She said, I do not know how to sing. The angel kept telling her to sing and to sing now. Joyce still feeling hurt, and she's embarrassed because she's standing in front of these people. And she repeat to the angel 3 times, I cannot sing. As the angel kept telling her to sing, Joyce is saying, I cannot sing. And the angel still telling her to sing. I mean, the angel just kept ignoring the words coming out of Joyce's mouth and continued to tell her to sing. Joyce was embarrassed in front of Lisa and the people. But, however, she decided to do what the angel kept telling her to do. Because, see, the more the angel kept speaking into her spirit and kept telling her to sing, the lesser she kept. That's when she was telling the angel, I cannot sing. I cannot sing. And then, as the angel kept saying it, suddenly it lost that hold that Joyce had, that grip of, I cannot sing. It dissipated. So suddenly, she gave in to the voice of the angel, because that voice of that angel telling her to sing took away that fear and that hurt that she was feeling. And now she no longer said, I cannot sing. That feeling of embarrassment was gone. She was no longer, she could still see Lisa and her homie laughing and the multitude of people, but for some reason, Joyce's spirit began to change. So Joyce, she did what the angel told her to do. She began to sing. She felt that peace. She suddenly got this feeling of peace, and she began to sing. And to her surprise, to Joyce's surprise, this beautiful voice came out. She sang to the top of her lungs. Joyce sang her butt off, as so to speak. She sang with this very strong and beautiful voice that came out. She was surprised because she knew she couldn't sing. But the minute that angel got her to calm down by constantly repeating into her spirit, it was breaking that embarrassment, breaking that hurt, breaking that shame, breaking the fact that these people were standing before her, and that peace came upon her. And when she opened her mouth, this voice came out that was strong and beautiful, that surprised her, that she can sing like that. And see, that voice came out, it grabbed hold of the people who was watching her, especially the 2 who was mocking her, Lisa and her homie that was laughing. And the thing about that was, in that dream, that was all that happened. But that, her seeing that in the dream, because when she woke up from her dream, she had tears in her eyes. And because in her sleep, while she was in that dream, she can hear herself. She can hear herself in the natural. It was a weird thing that she can actually tell that she was singing in the natural while she was asleep. She knew that she was doing more that, you ever talk, people, they say people are dreaming, they talk in they sleep, and they're talking about what they're dreaming about. They talking to somebody in their dream, and their words are actually coming in the natural when they sleep. They're talking in their sleep. That's what Joyce was hearing. She felt like she was singing in the natural, that it was actually, she was singing in the dream, but the words was coming out of her mouth in the natural. And if somebody would have been in that room with her, I believe they would have told Joyce that she was actually singing in her sleep. in the natural. The singing was in the dream as well as the natural, as I mentioned. And after the dream, Joyce did not suddenly become a great singer. Now, she had that dream. The angel told her she could sing, but that in the natural, after she woke up from that dream and she began to go on with her life, no, she did not become a great singer. But that dream blessed her in so many other different ways. Because what she received from the dream, she was taken in the natural to the book of Songs, the Song 23. She was taken to Songs 23. That's when she woke up and she knew she felt like she was singing in natural, she felt led to read Songs 23 for the meaningful answer of that dream. And Songs 23 reads as follows. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So I think that was a good message that the angel brought to her, because it lets her know that the way she handled herself with her friend Lisa, that the Lord is her shepherd. He is her strength. He is the one who's watching over her and protecting her and guiding her in the right direction of where she should go. He is her shepherd. And it said, I shall not want. Meaning as long as he's there with you, guiding you and directing you, you ain't got to worry about nothing. You're going to want for nothing because he's going to provide everything you need. You don't have to want for nothing. He makes me to lie down in green pastures, meaning that you're going to be where you're not going to be in a dry land, a desert. You know, he's with you. He's going to supply you. He leads you beside the still waters. He's going to lead you beside the calm waters, not the roaring water that's going to cause you to fear. The calm waters. He's guiding and directing you into where you're going to feel comfortable and you're going to feel safe. He restores your soul. So when people come at you in a certain kind of way and they want to attack you and they want to hurt you because you didn't do anything, because you was promoted and your light shined and theirs didn't, so he's going to restore your soul. He's going to bring calmness to you, even though they are spreading lies and negativity, and that's what coming to you, and it's causing you to have a uproar in your spirit. It's upsetting you. He's going to restore your soul and bring a calmness to you. He's going to lead you in the pathway of righteousness, and the path of righteousness. And that is, when you're in the path of righteousness, you are before God. What he is saying is that this spirit here, this is going to always usher you into the presence of God and the pathway of righteousness, because it's going to cover you from any sin in your life, so that you can now go behind the veil and stand in the path of righteousness. You can stand before God in righteousness for his name's sake. For his name's sake. And that's what Jesus did when he became the sacrificial lamb and went to the cross for all mankind's sins, who now have to believe in him through faith, and now his blood cover you and make you whiter than snow, where you can go behind the veil and stand before God in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. So it's letting you know also, yea, though you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you're only in the shadow of death. You are not in death. So people may take you to the shadow of death because that's where they want you to be. But he is letting you know, although you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, the shadow, you will have no fear. It says, I will fear no evil. You will have no fear. For God is with you. He is your rod and your staff, and he brings comfort to you. And then it tells her later that God will prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemies. And that's what he did for Joyce in her life. Because Lisa didn't understand that she was boxing with God because she was messing with one of his kids who was unlike her spiritually. She stayed steadfast to her love for God and the love that she had, the God love that she had in her. She stayed steadfast to that and did not match Lisa with her evil-hearted self. And so God anoints her head with oil. Her cup runneth over. That means blessings was just flowing for her. And he was letting her know goodness and mercy will follow her all the days of her life. And she will forever dwell in the house of the Lord, because that's how she carried herself. She didn't become like Lisa. She ignored that stuff. She let her have it if that's what defines her. If a position defines her, if sleeping with somebody to get the position defines her, let her have it. Let her have it. So Joyce learned a valuable lesson the night of her dream. She learned not all people who say, I love you, is operating within the true expressions of love. They're not. It is indeed just a cliche to them. So we do have many people that walk around hollering, I love you, but it's just a cliche because they operate in a similar manner to how Lisa operated in this short story. Joyce also learned that people's hate cannot stop the love of God from blessing her in her life. See, that's what people think. They think because they hate on you, because they think evil against you, because they want malice to happen in your life, they think because they think that way, that is what's going to happen to you, that you're going to feel that it's going to cut you deep like a knife. Not when you walking in the way of God. Not when he got you. Not when he's covering you. See, they don't understand. They boxing with God. They're not boxing with you. So when that happened, she understand. Joyce found that a person's hate cannot stop the love of God from blessing her in her life. A person's hate might turn the carnal man against her, because Lisa, even though she lied to a multitude of people, she only had one homie, one clown that was laughing with her. The multitude received it, but what hurt Joyce was that all of these people received it, but them just standing and looking at her didn't show that they believed it. It was what Joyce was feeling, because she knew that a multitude of people received this lie, and they was coming to her about it, and she just didn't entertain it. She just said, let my character speak for you. Let my character speak for you, not this lie. But what she learned through that dream is that the hate might turn a carnal man against her, or a carnal person against her, but can never turn her Father, which is in heaven, against her. Never can. As long as she has God on her side, Joyce knew that it didn't matter if the world was against her, as long as God was for her. I hope this story blessed someone. Click the thumbs up and the subscribe button to receive notifications for more articles from the Book of Life. Remember to click that thumbs up button. Be blessed. Be safe. Peace, people. Have a good one.